and welcome to DawnNews English. I'm Nadia Naqi with you for 20 minutes, and in this 20 minutes, we shall be discussing with our electoral expert Fauzia Yazdani regarding the upcoming polls. ECP briefed the Senate yesterday regarding the electoral process, regarding the delimitation. Today is the 27th, when the Election Commission is all set to come out with the preliminary delimitation listing. And of course, the final ones are to be printed on 30th November. We shall be discussing all of this with Fauzia Yazdani, not to forget that Senate yesterday gave a very alarming figure regarding the sensitive polling stations in the upcoming general election. Nearly 55% of the total polling stations are considered to be sensitive, and out of this 55%, some of them are more sensitive. Thank you so much for joining us, Fauzia. Initially, I would like to ask you, first, the briefing that was given yesterday by the Secretary Election Commission to the Standing Committee of Senate, was it an eye-opener to you? You know, the delimitation process today is the 27th, and still Senator Taj Haider had said to somehow bring it down so that it all falls within the 90 days. So, you know, the process that has been given by the Election Commission of Pakistan in terms of raising objections on the delimitations, do you think it requires so much time as given by the ECP, or can the duration be lessened?
Thank you very much, Nadia, for having me. I think I'll start with the last comment that you made, Senator Taj Haider. To bring it further down, Senator Taj Haider is a very seasoned politician. He knows very well how much time it requires and what does law say. You know, there are certain things in law you cannot mess around, and law says that 30 days are mandatory for preliminary lists to be available for a public display in all district-based election commissions offices and district administrations offices, and then 30 days to settle all the claims and whatever there are objections to it, so that a final list is printed where most of the people agree to it. So I think what Senator Taj Haider did was more of an electoral populism right now, because his party is taking a stance that elections should have been in 90 days, but actually it was their party that initiated the CCI, or rather pushed CCI to a census result that triggered delimitation. So I think that was not the issue. Yes, for me, out of the whatever has been reported yesterday out of the Senate committee, the most important part is sensitive polling stations.
Exactly, rightly pointed out, Fauzia, regarding, you said that you're more concerned about what has been given yesterday in the briefing. For me, 55% of the polling stations to be sensitive speaks a lot of the responsibility of the Election Commission of Pakistan, not only to conduct a free and fair election in these sensitive areas, but in time, providing the results and the counting, because that's the problematic area. That's where all the problem began in 2018 elections, and we're hoping that the upcoming elections is going to be free from all those RDS.
You see, I think there are two parts of it, Nadia. Number one part is sensitive polling stations, and for that, having almost 50% of your polling, 45% I think it is, of your expected polling station, which is 90,000 odd number, to be sensitive is a huge recognition of the fact that the upcoming general elections will not be free of electoral violence. And I don't think as a political commentators we should be surprised on it. The kind of political polarization, the violent behaviors, we are seeing every day from social media to physically, that are reflective of the fact that a small script, even dialogue between the two opponents of a political parties who are there to cast their vote, can trigger a street level fight. And that's why these polling stations are declared sensitive. Now, the second part to it is that last time it was only 16,000 polling stations Out of 85,000, 16,000. And now out of 91,000, 49,000. These polling stations will be equipped with CCTVs and their footage. We do not know what happened to the CCTV footage of the last general election where they were sensitive. So let's hope that Election Commission has kind of devised a mechanism where these DVRs will be available to them, and in case of electoral violence, they are kind of used as an evidence, because that's what they are for. I think it puts responsibility more on Election Commission, on media, on political parties, and people like us to kind of propagate, raise awareness on this fact that election day is not a battle day.
Right.
It is for you, kind of bringing your likeness for a political party, a political leader. It's your freedom of expression. It's your expression which has to be democratic and peaceful than violent. So I'm a little scared after seeing that number.
Okay, you are. The other thing, Fauzia, the number of polling stations this time, as mentioned by the Secretary Election Commission, somewhat like 91,809 polling stations across the country. The staff that would be deployed is termed approximately, if I'm not mistaken, is it 1 million?
Actually, last time it was 85,000. I was expecting the number to go up over 100,000 polling station, for the reason that, each polling station cannot be more than 1,500 voters on it. It has to be within the 1 kilometer radius, walking radius of the people who are supposed to cast their votes there. So I was expecting it to be much higher a number. Last time it was 800,000 polling staff. This time, as per some reliable sources, we are expecting 1.2 million people.
That's quite a figure. So when you say 1.2 million polling staff for conducting the general elections 2024, I suppose. I mean, although it may occur in 2023, we don't know. As of now, the information that we have from the Election Commission of Pakistan, they're all set to conduct the general elections in the last week of January next year. So all these people, 1.2 million, if that's the figure, or let's say over 100,000 polling staff, all of these people are going to be given or imparted with proper training. So how much time is required for their training, and how different is this training going to be as compared to the previous 2018 elections?
I mean, there is one thing where Election Commission should be appreciated, and that is streamlining of their training mechanism. Now they have an election academy to themselves as well. So the presiding officers, assistant presiding officer, poll officers, district returning officers, and then data entry operators. These are the categories that are trained. So they have very extensive curriculum and manuals for it. It usually takes 1 or maximum of 2 days. It's a cascade training, so it's our lead trainers, master trainers, and then it's rolled out simultaneously across Pakistan. So in terms of once election schedule is announced and you know that who will be doing the duty, it takes 2 functional days to do it.
Are you sure that 2 functional days are enough for them to understand how to operate? Because we're getting more technical now, in the sense, technical, I'm not saying in our discussion, but the entire process of transmitting, tabbing the results and transmitting it to the centralized pool is more technical. So is 2 days more than enough?
2 days maximum they've had in last at least 2 or 3 elections that I've observed and been part of. Yes, even last time, the RMS, result management system, and result transmission system, which were actually 2 systems, and generically speaking, people think that this is one, which is not one. Did the election polling staff, if I may call them like that, in a lump sum category, they did say in the post-election reviews that time was less. They were not given enough hands-on training, and it was more academic, and hence they could not use the RTS very properly. I think they would have to dedicate more time on maybe a day on how to use this digital transmission system, which they call election management system now, and they have issued a press release and talk to the general media about it as well.
And this polling staff, before we go to the EMS, that's the election management system. What is this polling staff, or who are these people? people? Are they all government school teachers, some private people, students?
Most of them come out of provinces. Provincial governments provide the list. Majority of them are from education department, from teachers to universities, and in some cases they are from wherever they're falling short. They are bank staff, because in far-flung area you may not have a school, but you have to have a polling station. So generally a bank, a national bank or private bank branch is nearby, so then they are also used. So it's education, bank staff, this is how they are used. And in certain cases where no one is available, then private persons are also engaged. These lists are provided by the provincial governments, or election commission has a database as well, that these are the people who have kind of were deputed and used and trained in last election or an election before that, so they try to pull them out of the same pool.
And this time, is it going to be the same kind of system being followed, or are we going to have something different, like probably university students?
This is kind of quite a cut number where you cannot use anyone less than a certain category. So when it comes to polling staff, we may have the same, but we are hearing there will be a campaign monitoring system also that election commission has told the media that this would be going on as well, which would be pre-poll, poll day and post-poll, and that is also quite a digitized number. Last time also they had 592 monitoring committees all over Pakistan, with each having 2 members, and this time they might engage university teachers or students to expand the pool so that they can use the electronic devices better. What we are hearing is they might be given tabs, SIM-enabled tabs, which has the geotagging also in it, and time stamping also involved in it. It would be a software-enabled thing. So anyone who goes somewhere and there is an incident, he wants to take a audio or video or send a text or just some plain picture, they can do it handily and send it back.
So all of these 1.2 million, if that's the...
No, this 1.2 million is just polling staff for the poll day only.
Okay.
This committee that we are talking about, the campaign monitoring mechanism that we are talking about, this is over and above. These are district level, where the deputy commissioner is usually a monitoring officer, is designated as a monitoring officer, and then there'll be monitoring committees, which also where the district-based election commission staff will also have a role to play in it. So last time what I'm saying was that it was 592 committees all over Pakistan, each committee having 2 members. This time we are expecting that election commission may involve university teachers and students to do it. This time they have made a monitoring software also, which would, they will be given tabs. The tabs will be software enabled, and from they can, keep a more digital archive. We are expecting them also to have a WhatsApp number for citizen journalism as well, which would be a one-way thing. Much that I was like, people here call 15 and say, well, I don't have a life, can you bring me some people? So they would be getting that as well. They're making it a little difficult, but I think it goes a step forward to transparency.
All right, Fauzia, what is the difference between the previous RTS and the EMS of this time?
The difference is, one, of course, the software is different. They will be, last time the polling staff, presiding officers were given 1,000 rupees to bring their own mobile phone and have the software, and it had lots of glitches, system updation and everything. This time, Election Commission will be purchasing tablets. They will be SIM-enabled tablets, and there will be updated, more high-tech software. It would have 2 steps. Number 1 would be where earlier presiding officer was supposed to upload the Form 45 into it and was not allowed to leave the polling station till it was uploaded. So, and at times when it was like hours and hours and they wanted to go, so the security forces that were deployed there, they won't let them go. And then for some where they could go, the system couldn't bear it, it collapsed. So this time all they have to do is take the picture of signed Form 45 in that tab and try to send it. If they can send it, connectivity and bandwidth is good, very good, well done. If it's not, pack your bags, come to the RO's office, show it, and as they take the photo, that photo would be stored in the software archive with timestamp and geotagging. So they would know that where it was done and everything. And then it can be, because RO's office would have at least plan A and B of connectivity, so it can be transferred there. Each RO, the National Assembly RO would be different, the Provincial Assembly RO would be different. Both will have set of laptops and data entry operators would there. It would be fed into the part 2 of the EMS system, and from there they will first generate form 47, which would be preliminary, or as we say, preliminary result, in which is compilation of form 45 from all polling stations.
Okay.
Then they would go to 48, which would be those, you have packets where there are challenged vote, tendered vote, rejected vote. So RO would open them, see, finalize them, and add them into it, form 48. And then form 49 is the final consolidation of result, which is sent, that takes into view everything. So this is the whole system. I think this incorporates lots of learning from the last RMS and RTS. So it's not dependent on internet connectivity, because you can still go ahead and do it. And then it's all with the RO, which last time was from judiciary. This time said that they cannot give officers, but it would be taken up again as soon as election program is announced. It should ideally be better.
This was my last question to you. That yes, everything is done technically. They're all prepared. They're trying to overcome all what happened in 2018 elections. Are these systems like tested? Can they be tested beforehand? Whenever you put something in place, you have to keep on testing to see that this is functioning absolutely perfectly and producing the desired result.
Okay, you see, that's a very, very valid question. In last before RMS and RTS went into 2018 election, it was pilot tested in many by-elections. Unfortunately, this system has been tested over and over within a controlled environment, but has not gone into a pilot test of a full election. That's what I presume. So would it work or not? Can it collapse? Remains to be seen. But as I have gone through the technical details of it, it has quite substantial possibility of working. And the country devises its own systems to use technology and digitization to reduce the time, so that there is more, revive the trust between the institution of an election management body and people, that it is transparent.
All right. Thank you so much, Fauzia. As we're moving closer towards the elections, there are other aspects of the Election Commission of Pakistan regarding the mechanism that are being put in place for the general polls, that we shall be inviting you more often to discuss all what is going to happen. And, if the systems put in place will produce desired results for no one to object regarding the transparency of the upcoming elections. Thank you so much for being with us. That's all for now. Take care and goodbye.